Hello and welcome to yet another episode of World of Brands. Today we have with us Deepak NG, Managing Director of DASO Systems, India. Deepak, thank you very much for joining us on Republic TV.
Thank you, Pranav. It's pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. Deepak, I was going through your company profile and the first thing that I stumbled upon was a virtual twin. I'm curious to know what exactly is it?
I mean, you hit the right thing. So before even I start with virtual twin, let me give you some insights about Dassault Systems so that it can actually help you to take you through this virtual twin journey. See, way back in early 80s, Dassault Systems started with an idea of how can we create a virtual environment where we can actually test physical components virtually.
Okay.
So with that context, a kind of a startup idea came up, and then they all started, and it kind of turned out to be a very interesting product, which we all know globally now called CATIA. Right. So that's one of our products, and which started helping building the 3D data of the parts, components. So from there the journey started. When we can build parts and components, why can't we take care of the assembly of a product? So when the assembly of the product was done, there was a need to see how I can maintain this set of data in a very structured format. Then the topic of PDM came into picture. When you have this PDM in place, then can I also manage the entire life cycle of engineering, which is called product life cycle management. Okay. So Dassault Systems started with that, with bringing in right set of applications to handle the product life cycle during the design stage. Then while doing that, the thought process of while we have everything in place, now it's very important for an organization to really simulate virtually before they make physical products, right? That's the reason the virtual twin context came into picture. So virtual twin technology is nothing but it enables to create a real-time data-driven virtual object, which is nothing but a replica of physical product. So that you can simulate, visualize everything before you manufacture, before you prototype.
Okay.
So this is the virtual twin. And not only this, when you do this, it not only creates a 3D content, but also it has process and systems in it. You have the representations, which is nothing but process and systems, and also the 3D content, which gives you the entire schema of how you can simulate and test the product.
Okay. So then you mentioned about startups. I mean, so many startups. India is being called the startup capital. Could you tell me what are some of the advantages of a virtual twin against creating an actual 3D prototype?
So if you look at
that's a layman question.
Exactly. I mean, startups are something which is very interesting, I should say, because they don't have any legacy.
Right.
They are the one who can actually adopt technology right from the day one. So not only to startup, it's even helping the bigger organizations, but to come back to your question on how it can help, you will cut down on prototypes.
Okay.
So main reason, when you have everything virtually, when I said virtually, it is not just a representation which actually giving you a image, but it has all the parameters inbuilt. It has all the features inbuilt so that you can simulate in a very structured way to see the behavior of the component. So when you do that, so automatically companies or the startups, they are going to get advantage of reducing their prototype and then bringing their innovation faster. They can simulate multiple scenarios. It's not just complete this and then see to it how actually it comes out as a product. No, you can actually stop, you can change scenarios, you can innovate things, you can apply some new ideas in between, see whether it is going to be as per your requirement or not, then you get into the prototype. And when you do prototype, it can be 3D printing also.
Okay. So, are there any specific sectors to which this applies, or it can be applied across industries?
From Dassault Systems standpoint, it's it's a very interesting question, because I'll just give background on which sectors it can actually help. So, as an organization, we focus on 3 major sectors. I mean, it is the way we actually have structured: manufacturing, infrastructure, and life sciences. So under manufacturing or under life science and infrastructure, we have industries to support. Just to give you an examples, under manufacturing we have transportation and mobility, which can be automotive or railways. Then we have aerospace and defense. Then we have consumer packaged goods, industrial equipment, marine and offshore, high tech. These are all part of the manufacturing.
Right.
And when it comes to infrastructure, cities and territories, then you have energy and materials. So these are all in our infrastructure portfolio. Then life sciences, obviously the pharmaceuticals, personalized patient care, and also the medical devices. Now I touched upon these industries, right? So any of these industries who are, typically if you look at most of the organizations today look at what? They want to have time to market,
right,
reduce cost,
right,
optimization in terms of their design and development, and sustainability, and also leverage the latest technology, whether it is AI. So whoever is looking all these aspects, they are the one who is looking at this virtual twin technology. If I have to give simple example, I can take a cell phone.
Right.
So in the cell phone, we can create a 3D model of a cell phone.
Right.
But it has many components in that. So while creating a cell phone, virtually, you're actually assembling multiple components, and then you create the 3D data, and you simulate the behavior of the phone. For example, if you drop the phone, what happens? What is the impact? So everything you test virtually. So this is called the process. You have design process, you have simulation process, and also you have manufacturing process. How do you manufacture?
Right.
So I have a camera has to be inserted. The camera is coming from someone else.
Right.
So how do you integrate all that? You can simulate everything in the virtual world, and then come out with a full product where your process and systems are integrated with that.
Right.
Then you use this virtual twin for your prototypes or virtual prototypes before you manufacture.
Okay. What about costs involved? Could you give us a perspective of as to what are the kind of costs that you, in terms of percentage also possible, that you might end up saving because of using of a software?
Main thing which come to my mind is reducing cost from the prototypes.
Right. You were mentioning about a particular survey or
exactly.
A
so we did quite some time back, along with Accenture, DASO Systems did a survey of each industry, right? Whether it is manufacturing, infrastructure, life sciences, on how this technology adoption is and what benefits are they getting.
Right.
So when we looked at it, some of the data points are very interesting, because if I have to take only manufacturing part, particularly in the transportation mobility, automotive sector, there was a study, the numbers revealed was with the technology adoption, doing everything in advance, simulating that, it can actually cut down cost close to around, talking about the globally, I'm talking about, it can cut down close to around 690 billion is what something which was actually referred in that survey.
And that's just one industry?
That's one industry.
Okay.
Because look at it, it is nothing associated only with the material, right? You have the time associated to that, manpower associated to that, resource associated to that, and then obviously you're really producing something which is not going to be used, prototype. And also equally it contributes to your sustainability. So it can as good as a huge metric ton of carbon footprint can be reduced from that. So this is one.
So
just
in terms
example.
of sustainability also, what are some of the advantages in terms of that could be some of the advantage in terms of sustainability?
Absolutely, yes. When I talked about the technology, right? If you look at, I mentioned about the industries, the different industries. What DASO Systems has done for each industries, we have segregated in different segments. For example, when I talk about transportation mobility, within that we take about a two-wheeler segment, railway, passenger car, commercial car, electric vehicle. So why it was important, because every industry and every segment has its own style of designing their value chain and then working pattern. Now, we can't fit solution which is actually common for all, right? So at DASO Systems, what we did was, the virtual twin is at a very high level, which can actually enable them to create a virtual replica of the physical product, what I said. Also, it actually it is done using our 3D experience platform, which hosts multiple applications in different stages. For example, you have a design stage, you have simulation stage, you have manufacturing, you have supplier collaboration, and you have consumer service. So all together, we looked at it, and for each industry and each segment, we have created a solution called industry solution experience. So that means, if I have to take example of EV. So for an EV manufacturer, particularly if he's a four-wheeler manufacturer, what all steps they undergo during their life cycle of the product development. So you have specific roles in our application which actually help them to create. When you're doing that, obviously you will have an option to see the right type of material being used, the opportunity to reduce cost, opportunity to reduce the best possible design which can be more efficient, whether it is fuel efficiency or the battery optimization or the battery usage. So when you do all that, automatically it is contributing to the sustainability. And they can simulate and see that.
I was going through your profile and I see that you started as an engineering graduate and then, moved. Could you take me through your journey? How exactly did your journey begin? How did you get into this domain?
This is a very interesting topic because I started my career, or rather my education was more on specialization in tool and die making. Okay, so whenever it comes to my mind, I always think of shop floor, big shop floor, be there, and then manufacturing, oils and so. And at that point of time, a big revolution in terms of how the digital technology is contributing to the engineering side was the topic. So I was I don't know whether I was fortunate or I had to step out a bit out of my passion, which was more of shop floor, to a computer related or the digital related area. So I was fortunate to get into a work where I started creating 3D models of what we physically do.
Okay.
So that was the 3D modeling era, I should say.
Okay.
So you do everything virtually and then send it for CNC machining, then see how the products you do mold in virtual softwares and then get into the production. So I started using the software. So during the period of time when I started using, I got into deep technical. I was doing technical activities within Dassault Systems. I was responsible for aerospace as an account manager, responsible for supporting them. Then gradually the sales thing kicked up, like along with your technical, then you became sales, from sales to taking additional responsibilities of managing team, and then today I'm managing Dassault Systems India. Okay.
You were mentioning you are also working as Dassault Systems with certain governments. What are those projects all about?
See, if you look at Dassault Systems as part of our own, I should say, the style in which we work is more towards how can we support, or rather I should say, how can we contribute back to society in multiple ways. So one of the key highlights what we talked about, harmonizing product, nature and life. So when I spoke about product, like how you harmonize by providing all the technology to develop best product. Nature is where the sustainability part we talked about. Life, when it comes, is more of people. So it can be twofold. One can be from the life sciences per se, on how we can actually help the medical side of the story to support people in terms of their health and also in terms of caring about people. So when we talk about that, we started few initiatives with government looking at the India context. So India today is very well poised with the talent what we have. So globally we are very well accepted as a best talent, so that they can actually contribute irrespective of any industry. So what we started to look at is how can we support as an organization to contribute towards India's vision on Make in India, Design in India for design in India for the world. So it requires a lot of talent in terms of not only talent, getting those skill level, which is more of what I call it as a domain specific. So this is where we started to understand, and we kind of are fortunate to support more than 1,000 colleges across in India where they use our technology. But that was not really helping, because it was more of a product learning. So where we thought with government, we started to create and curate, can we do a domain specific training programs? For example, aerospace, how an aircraft is built, how an electric car is being built.
Okay.
So how my infrastructure and cities are actually being built. So with all that, we created a content in which we can train students, and government government of Rajasthan, government of Karnataka, government of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Orissa, Assam. So they all kind of liked this concept, and then we started to put our team along with an agreed partnership on how do we enable right skills for the upcoming talent to produce right workforce of the future for India. So this has been a very successful program, and we have been doing with multiple states, and wherever we see the industry specific needs, we are working with them on curating those contents, matching their internal state kind of interest on what industry they need to attract and how they want to do.
Okay. Is AI a challenge for your domain in any way?
I'll say no, because we've been working a lot on how we couple AI with what we are doing with 3D Experience platform. Just to give you insights on that, I spoke about virtual twin, right? Now, today while we speak, this virtual twin context or the 3D Experience platform context came in the year 2012 for us when we announced as a platform approach, right? So all individual apps, when I said it was started with individual applications which was actually driving, but in 2012 we said it has to sit on a platform, a single platform. So when we started putting across those content on a platform, we also started thinking on how we can actually leverage AI to it. So that's where today while we speak, we have launched many programs on how all these apps, what we have developed so far and what we are doing, how can we couple with AI?
Okay.
So to help most of our customers and academic institutions to leverage our products, also supported by the AI. For example, if I have to tell you, while designing a car, you may kind of want to have multiple iterations where with the amount of data what you have today, because we believe whatever data we create, the knowledge, know-how, what we have, a huge number of IP being created by most of our customers. Because all this industry, they use our technology and they create their own IPs. And that is available data today. So how can we leverage the data and apply the AI logic and then create new innovative products? So just simple example, if you want to create a new variant of a car with all your database,
with the existing platform,
get market insights, get the inputs from what is required with the sustainability angle, put everything and then see to it how it can start giving you the nice and new shapes.
Okay. You made a fleeting reference to Make in India. How does your product, how does your company's vision align with this whole Make in India initiative?
So I talked about engineering standpoint. You also see the manufacturing part of it, right? Particularly in India, starting, or I should say post-COVID, we saw a huge transformation in expansion in manufacturing. So when you say expansion in manufacturing, we started to get a lot of requests on how do I automate my plant? How do I automate my factories? Because there is an initiative which is Make in India, and the production rates of production has been increased, and then you have a lot of opportunities to set up new plants, new lines. So at DASO Systems, we started to provide our manufacturing solution, which is nothing but a portion of the entire product suite what I spoke about, which actually helps in helping organizations to really simulate their factory and decide the best possible line for them to operate, and also automate their manufacturing process so that their output in terms of time and quality is actually maintained. And if I have to give a recent example, the JSL, the Jindal Steel, they introduced our manufacturing solution in their shop for operation efficiency and then the sustainability part. So it's like, this is how I should say, aligning with Make in India, the requirement what was coming from not only from the big manufacturing players and also with the small players, whether it is startup or medium organization, and also to an extent MSMEs. So we started to position applications and softwares which can actually support their agenda of making in India.
Is there can you give us an insight into the sectoral outlook in terms of where does this go? What are the numbers like for the sector over the next about 5 years or so, 2030 vision if we have to talk about sectorally? Are there any numbers that we're looking at?
From DASO Systems
standpoint? No. From sectoral, in terms of pure 3D automation as an industry growing, if not numbers, could you tell us about the likely potential?
Sector-wise, okay, this is all the public data.
Right, absolutely.
So, if you take manufacturing per se, when I say manufacturing, particularly I'm only talking about this segment, which is by 2030 or 2028, it is expected to be a opportunity of 1.2 billion.
Okay, that's
an opportunity of 1.2 billion, where most of the customers can actually start adopting the technology. I'm talking about only India per se.
right.
Okay, infrastructure is huge. Why I'm saying is the current technology usage in infrastructure is less. When I say infrastructure, we talk about building virtual twin of a car, we talk virtual twin of a phone, or like
literally everything.
Literally everything.
Yeah.
When I say infrastructure, one element which we have been doing is building a virtual twin of a city, virtual twin of a state.
You've done that?
Yeah, we have done it with Rajasthan, we have done it for a Jaipur city, we have done it. And we have done it with multiple other cities outside India as well. So we've been selective in India. So we've been interacting with many government agencies, because now we see a lot of traction happening on how do I build my virtual city. Now you may ask why. So looking at the opportunity what we have in India in terms of growth, particularly associated infrastructure development, what we are seeing, whether you are building rail, road, highways, flyovers, stadiums. So just imagine a scenario where a public servant, or I should say that a planner, sitting on a virtual city and putting across a bridge to see that what are the associated impacts and what kind of changes I need to do if I have to really put up a bridge here or flyover here, or I have to create a park. So just do some kind of assessment on noise pollution, assessment on feasibility study towards whether is it a right place to even put an underpass or a bridge. You create virtually. And here one important aspect what I would like to highlight is, whatever you build virtually in a city is not pictorial. If you put a bridge, that bridge can be directly converted into different bill of materials and you can send it for fabrication.
Correct. You are actually testing it with all the
data.
You are actually testing it with every bit.
Every bit of that. So this is where the infrastructure is actually
coming in picture.
Yeah.
So Deepak, you were mentioning about the Make in India opportunity. I want to ask you, what is in it for DASO Systems? How do you look at yourself fitting in that opportunity, purely in terms of guidance, in terms of opportunities?
So as I said, we are on, currently we are actually going through a very interesting moment in India. The Make in India context with respect to what I earlier said about how organizations are expanding in terms of their capacity, manufacturing capacity, or it can be new product, new variants. So this is something which we are seeing, and on top of it, the overall economy per se is expected to grow to close to around 5 trillion in next 2 to 3 years, right? So we at DASO Systems are very focused on that. See, all these years we have been supporting customers in terms of their product development, providing resources and applications based on their need. Now we are also kind of putting our efforts to put more and more resources for India alone, helping and enabling our customers through the journey of not only adopting the technology for their design and development the way they are doing with the latest trends of virtual twin, but also align it with respect to the AI what we are talking about. So in that context, there is a huge focus from us, particularly Team India, on the coverage part. We have been covering across India, so our presence is there in all the states wherever possible. And as I said, the number of industries and segments what we support. And fortunately in India, every state has a healthy competition to attract many industries, and we have been supporting them with products, with technology, and also with consulting in terms of how they can adopt this new technology for their product development and design. And here the very important fact when it comes to AI, as I briefly touched earlier, a majority of our work focuses on helping organization to create their IPs.
Right.
So to create an IP, they use our technology for design, simulation, and also to collaborate. And while we talk about collaboration, it's no more one entity involved anymore. If you have to car design, there are multiple, within the same organization, they may have multiple entities or multiple departments or multiple location, and also the right suppliers, right collaborators. So we are actually helping them how they can leverage this 3D experience platform in the entire value network so that they can generate the IP, and that IP can be actually protected in the cloud, what we are actually offering, so that your data are protected and you are actually using the latest trends of what AI is talking about for the new product development and manufacturing, and also expanding this to your entire value network. So this is what we are looking at it.
Very much. Thanks a lot for giving us time. It was lovely talking to you. We will keep tracking your journey through the next decade or so and keep in touch with you. Thank you very much.
It was pleasure, Pranav. Same here. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Looking forward to stay connected.
Thank you.